And my mom and I actually ended up in one of these detention centers in Arizona, the ICE detention centers. And let me tell you guys, it's one of the worst things that any child, any human, any person, any woman or male, like it's one of the worst things that you guys could possibly go through. I know jail sounds bad, but it's a different type of jail. We ended up in these jails. It was just myself and my mother, so it was just us two. So when we got to that detention center, it was a level field. So it wasn't no top stories, there was no more stories to it. It was just literally flat to the ground, as low as it could go. When you got in there, you saw about 5 cages spread it out, usually in each corner, 2, and then 1 in the middle. We actually ended up in the one in the middle, so I kind of felt like I was the laughing stock of the circus, basically. That's what that's the treatment you get, because the moment that they threw me in those cages and they locked that door, they treated me like an animal. I didn't get fed for 2 days. Remember, I was a 4-year-old child. I didn't get fed for 2 days. They didn't give me any kind of blanket, no toilet paper, nothing you could imagine for me to keep warm. I didn't even get water. Me being a child in that cage, I was never offered water for 2 days. If you've ever been thirsty, I know it's hot right now. I'm pretty sure you guys want like some juice or water, something. There you go, beer, shit. But we have the option to go out and go get something. We have the option. They don't. I didn't. For a long time, I didn't have that option. And they took that away from me. Because for 2 days, they treated me like a fucking animal in a shelter. I was in a cage, just like those animals in shelters are. Those same cages, that's what it feels like. The same 4 cages, that's the same shit it feels like. You have the floor, which you lay on. That's your bed, that's your couch, that's your walking area, whatever it is. They crammed 15 people in there, including myself. 15 people, 1 stall that was in the corner. It smelled like Skid Row. It smelled like a gas station bathroom. It smelled like a dirty alley, if any of you guys have ever walked through that. And we were in there. We were conditioned to sleep, eat, and I mean, we didn't get fed, but we were supposed to. That's what we were supposed to do in those cages. I got that taken away from me, and my mom got that taken away from me. And for a 4-year-old child to see their mother crying, not knowing what's next for themselves and for your own kid, to feel helpless as a mother, that you don't know if your kid's gonna survive because they're not getting fed. You don't know if they're not gonna survive because they haven't been drinking water. After you probably walked, after these kids and these people have walked through these deserts for so many days, they don't get not 1 lick of water, not 1 drop. After 2 days of crying in silence because I wouldn't dare to show my mom that I was weak, because she was trying to be strong for me, and I had to give her that back. So I cried as I was holding on to those cages. I cried to myself in silence because I saw my mom tear up in front of me, and I saw her pray, and I saw her lose hope. And if anyone knows what that feels like hitting rock bottom ever in their lives, losing hope is losing the last thing you ever have as a person. My mom lost that, and after those 2 days of sharing a cage with 15 people, sharing a bathroom with 15 people, and then you gotta think about, it's 15 people in 1 bathroom, not everyone's gonna get their chance. I didn't. And as embarrassing as that is to say now as an adult, I peed on myself. I had to go on myself as a 4-year-old child because someone was in the restroom. Because someone decided to put 15 people in 1 restroom for everybody. After those 2 days of literally treating me like an animal, they ripped me apart from my mom. And the way that they did it is they came in that cage and they looked at me. The moment that they looked at me, I held on, for God's sake, to my mom's legs like there was no tomorrow. Like that was the last thing that I would have ever done in my life. They still yanked me off. They pulled me away. And it's funny because someone asked me, how do they pull you away? How do they transfer you? How do they take you? You know how they want to, you know how they take you? They zip tie your 4-year-old kids. They zip tie their little hands. What is a 4-year-old kid gonna do to you? What is any of these kids gonna do to you? As an adult with a gun on your hip, what are you as a threat to them? Any of these kids, you look at their faces, I was probably this small. I was probably that little, and they zip tied me. And then they placed me in another home and said, this is your family. I remember it so well. They had 2 other kids. They had other kids, and they had a backyard. It's like I got placed in another home, another family. It's like they erased me. They erased every single part of me. They erased my parents. They erased who I was. They erased everything. And I didn't want to eat. I didn't trust anyone. I think that they were going to kill me. I think that they were part of ICE. I thought that I was just there to be trafficked into somewhere else. Like, how is a 4-year-old going to think about this? I had to grow up very, very young. And sadly, it took a toll on me because I didn't get to enjoy my childhood like I hope all these kids do. I didn't have that because I grew up at 4 years old. I realized the cruelty of humanity and what they are capable of at 4 years old. I realized that some humans will destroy you, will destroy the innocence. And I didn't understand that. I didn't understand that as a 4-year-old. Who would hurt me? Why? Why are you taking me from someone I love? Someone that I know? If your kid comes around a stranger, what do? They don't go to them. They shy away because they don't know them. I got stripped from someone I knew. I got stripped from the only thing that I knew, which was my mother, the person who gave me life, and they stripped me from that. And the worst thing is to hear your mom cry as they're taking you. And you're on the other side of the cage. Even if you run, even if you get to the cage, what can you do? You can't open those doors. I couldn't let her out. I didn't even want to say goodbye. But I felt like that was the last time I was gonna ever see her in my life. And that was possibly the last time I could have ever been alive too. And I said this last time, just like technology, just like humans, just like everything else in life evolves, evil has evolved too. Because now they're getting more inventive with how they're gonna mistreat our kids. Not just our kids, just everyone in general, but our kids. How? Why? What have they done to you? What have they done in general to life to deserve to be gassed, to be mistreated, to be cold? Would you ever let your 4-year-old child not have nothing to drink all day? Would you not feed them for one whole day? Would you dare to not feed your child for a whole day? Then why do they do it to us? We could be any of their kids. We could be their kids. And yet, for some reason, the color of my skin decides that I go to those type of camps, those type of cages. And I don't understand why the color of my skin, or where I come from determines how I get treated, because I see everybody the same. Color does not mean anything to me. You could be any kind of color, I'll treat you the same. You give me respect, I'll give it to you back. And I'm sorry for all the waterworks, but as many times I say this story, the wounds don't get any easier, and it doesn't get any easier to talk about this. It doesn't. It really doesn't. But I want everyone. I want everyone to realize that there's evil out there. There's evil out there, and we have to open our eyes to it, because if we don't open our eyes to it, if we turn a blind eye, if we turned our backs to all what's going on, what's gonna happen to those, and I have read it, 15,000 kids that are missing at the moment. There could be more. There is still more. And as we speak, kids are going hungry, kids are starving to death, they're being dehydrated, they're being mistreated, they're being abused, they're being broken down as the beautiful natives that they are. They're being stripped from that. But these manifest that we're here, like us manifesting this is showing them that there's love out there, love for these kids, love for innocence, love for justice. And this is what we're here for, this is what I want, this is what I told my story for, to expose the evilness, to expose these people that put kids in cages, and I still don't get it. Up to this day, I still don't get it. 25 years old, I still don't understand how they could treat kids like this. As a kid, I thought, man, people don't do things like this to kids, and I was wrong. And if you thought that they didn't do this to these kids, I hope you're wrong today. I hope that you realize that this is, I'm 25 years old. You're talking about 21 years of this going on. And now they've literally just not cared if anyone knows, not cared if they're still doing this, not care to stop. And this is what we're here for, to make sure they stop them, to make sure these camps are closed for good, and to make sure our kids are out, to make sure they're with their loving parents, with who they're supposed to be. So please, while everyone walks, while everyone marches, while everyone chants whatever they feel like chanting, whatever comes out of their heart, please remember why we're here. And please remember that we're doing this to stop a greater evil.